This is Thought for the Day on Wednesday, the 29th of July, and we're looking at Luke chapter 7 and verses 36 to 50. So if you want to read that and then come back, that would be marvellous. And firstly, can I just nail this idea that Christianity is anti-women? What a load of nonsense. Some Christians, and even the early church fathers were sometimes like that, yeah. But this story in the Bible involving Jesus shows Christianity is not inherently anti-women. In fact, exactly the opposite. This story honours with great dignity and respect a wonderfully brave, generous, gutsy, strong and humble woman who, at great risk of rejection and ridicule, gave the very best that she had for Jesus. Often the women in the Gospels put the fellas in the shade. They often radically model what it means to be a follower of Jesus. It's a really important story, this one. Why? Well, because it's in 3 of the 4 Gospels. So many people must have said at the editing stage, you have got to put the story in about that woman who anointed Jesus' feet. So Jesus goes to this, what I imagine to be quite a posh dinner party, and a woman who is known as a sinner. I mean, what did that mean? But it isn't good or nice, is it? I mean, imagine being known as, I don't know, Christine the sinner, with a bit of a nod and a wink. It's just horrible. Well, she comes to this Pharisee's house, Pharisee called Simon, and starts weeping and crying. And she must be on her knees as well, because her tears fall on Jesus' feet. And then she starts to wipe away the tears with her presumably really long hair. I mean, it was such a shameful thing for a woman in that culture to reveal her hair like that to anybody but her husband. And here she is, wiping Jesus's tear-soaked feet with her hair. And then she breaks this expensive jar of ointment worth, I mean, probably the equivalent of about £25,000, and anoints Jesus' feet and maybe his head as well. Read all the accounts, and kisses his feet as well. Now, if I'd been Jesus in that situation, I'd have been so embarrassed. I mean, I would have been thinking, what kind of relationship do they think I have with this woman, Christine the sinner? And I mean, what she's doing is frankly quite erotic, isn't it? I mean, I know, yeah, the vicar just used the word erotic, but it is. And yet Jesus, he's just amazing. He dignifies it. He receives it as a truly kind, pastoral, loving act of somebody who clearly has the deepest affection for him. He's not embarrassed by it. He gives it honour and turns it into something beautiful. Read verse 39. Now Simon, he's not thinking generous thoughts about this. He's not thinking the best of Jesus or the woman. And let's be honest, it's quite difficult to. I mean, I sometimes read a story like this. This is worth doing sometimes. Read a story like this and put yourself in the place of the different characters, whether it's Simon or Jesus or even the woman, and just get a feel for what it would be like to be each one of the characters. How would you actually react in those situations? Well, Jesus knows what Simon is thinking, and he tells him a little parable, a little story with a hidden meaning. But let's be honest, the meaning's not very hidden in this particular parable. Jesus, in effect, says this woman is well aware of how her life is messed up, how much she's wasted the life that God gave her to live, and she is deeply sorry, deeply aware of the debt that she owes to God. and she just wants a fresh start. She just wants a chance to start again. And do you know something, Simon? It's like Jesus says, she's got it. She's got the fresh start that she yearns for. Her mistakes in life, even her catastrophic life choices that have turned her life into a series of mess-ups, have been forgiven by Almighty God. What do you think of that, Simon? And when God forgives someone, no one has the right to hold anything against them. And what's more, Jesus seems to say to the woman, your trust in me, in Jesus, which you've generously demonstrated here this evening, is not misplaced. I've rescued you. I've given you a fresh start. I've given you a future. Go in peace. You know, you are now forgiven as someone whose life is securely rooted in me. The way, the truth, the life. And the clear implication from Jesus' little story is that Simon has little sense of gratitude of all the signs of God's grace in his life. No generous overspill from his life in acknowledgement that God has given him so much and forgiven him so much. No overspill from a life that benefits others, not even Jesus, never mind the sinful woman. It's another one of those stories, and Luke is absolutely full of them, where you just can't help but love Jesus for doing what he did. Maybe read the other two accounts of this story in Mark 14 and verses 3 to 9 and Matthew 26 and verses 6 to 13. You'll see even more little nuggets and gems in it. But I think my reflection and takeaway from it is this, that I want to live in a way motivated by the gratitude I have for Jesus' friendship with me. I want to be generous to others who may be having a hard time or who have had a tough life, even if that comes out in, maybe their anger or their lack of ability to properly sustain or hold decent relationships. Jesus always sided with the lost and the last and the least. And I'm only happy to lead and be part of a church that is willing to do the same.